Hello, beautiful soul. You don't need to fix yourself. You only need to come home. Welcome back to Softening into Momentum. I'm Miki. Here we are, week 6 of Permission to Be. And we're doing something a little different today. For the past 5 weeks on this podcast, we've been doing the deep inner work, meeting our why, our purpose, studying our deepest rooted patterns, building our toolkit, resetting our self-relationship, rewriting our inner voice. All of this work is essential, sacred even, and absolutely true. And today, I'm going to say something that might feel like a contradiction. You don't rise to the level of your intentions. You fall to the level of your environment. This isn't my quote. It's a truth that's borrowed from behavioral science, and it matters because you can do all the inner work in the world, but if your environment is constantly pulling you back into old patterns, you're fighting a war you don't even need to fight. Today, we design the life that supports your healing from the outside in. Hey, beautiful soul. Before I go any further, I want to pause and share something with you. If this season has been landing for you, if you've been listening and thinking, this is what I've been looking for, I want you to know something deeper is coming. I'm building a course. It's called Permission to Be, and it's an 8-week mindful sobriety and self-trust journey back to yourself. It's rooted in everything we explore on this podcast: Buddhist philosophy, nervous system awareness, compassion, and real lived experience. But it goes further. It gives you structure. It gives you tools. It gives you a path you can walk at your own pace, with support, with community, and with the option to walk it directly alongside me. Inside Permission to Be, you'll learn to understand your patterns without any shame, to rebuild your trust, one small, brave choice at a time, to support your cravings and emotions with practical, body-based tools that actually work in the moment, to soften your inner critic into something that guides you instead of gutting you, and to create a life you no longer need to escape from. You don't need to fix yourself, beautiful soul. You just need a gentler way home. Permission to Be is coming soon. And if you want to be the first to know when it opens, including a very special group cohort offer for those who join early, head to the link in the description and sign up for the waitlist. It takes 10 seconds, and it means I get to keep you close as this all unfolds. Go ahead and sign up. I'll be right here. Okay, back to the episode. The Buddha taught about Sammā Ājīva, right livelihood. Traditionally, this teaching is about earning your living in a way that doesn't cause harm. But I want to expand it because I think the principle extends far beyond your job. Right livelihood is about right environment, right conditions, right soil. Think of yourself as a plant. You can be the most resilient, most beautiful, most determined plant in the entire world, but if you're planted in toxic soil with no sunlight and someone keeps pouring salt on your roots, you're not going to thrive. And not because something is wrong with you, because the conditions don't support your growth. This isn't a failure of character. This is physics. It's biology. This is how living things work. So, let's talk about conditions. Let's talk about the soil of your daily life. Your environment includes everything that surrounds you: physical space, the people you spend time with, the media you consume, the routines that you've built, the commitments that you've made to yourself, and the ones you haven't released. Every single one of these is either supporting your growth or disrupting it. Not sometimes, every single day. I'm not here to tell you to cut people off for good. I'm not going to tell you to throw absolutely everything away in your house. That's the all or nothing approach, and we already know where that leads us. What I am going to do is invite you to audit gently, honestly, with the same curiosity we've been cultivating all season long. Look at your physical environment first. Your home, your kitchen, your bedroom. Is there anything in your space that makes the old pattern easier? A bottle you keep just in case. A cupboard that's stocked for a version of you that you're trying to outgrow. I'm not judging. I kept alcohol in my pantry on top of my microwave for the first 6 months after I got sober. And it's obviously not lost on me that I'm actually recording this podcast in a new environment. A very tangible example of this audit came to me when I realized that my recording studio was actually keeping me from reaching my fullest potential. I am allergic to cats, and while I love my 2 cats dearly, their space was down in the basement where I would record. And just a simple audit of my weeks of recording this season led me to understand that I was keeping myself stuck. I was making it harder on myself, having flare-ups right before I record. I needed to relocate. And so I did. you're not keeping the door cracked open anymore. You're closing it. Not because you have to, because you're choosing to. Now, look at your people. And this one is harder. Because the people in your life are not props in your recovery or healing journey. They're humans with their own stories and their own pain and their own relationship with alcohol or whatever your pattern is. But some people reinforce your patterns, not maliciously, often not even consciously. They pour the glass without asking. They bring it to your table. They tease you when you say no. They create social pressure that's so subtle, you don't even notice you're caving until you're already at the club. You're already up too late. You're already 3 drinks in. And some people support your patterns changing. They ask how you're doing and actually listen. They don't make your sobriety about themselves. They celebrate your quiet wins. They hold space without fixing. You don't have to eliminate everyone who doesn't support your growth. But you do have to be honest about who energizes your healing and who depletes it. And you have to be willing to protect your nervous system by adjusting how much time and access you give to those people. That's not selfish. That's right livelihood. That's designing a life that supports who you're becoming. And finally, look at your routines, because routines are the invisible architecture of your entire day. They determine what's easy and what requires effort. If your evening routine includes pouring a drink every night, then every night you're starting from a position of resistance. You're fighting something. But if your evening routine includes a cup of tea, a walk, a meditation, a phone call with someone who gets it, then the path of least resistance leads somewhere nourishing instead of somewhere numbing. You don't need more discipline. You need better design. I want to talk about something that comes up with almost every client I work with, and it's this: the places, people, and situations that pull you back. There are certain restaurants where the muscle memory of ordering a drink is so strong that you're halfway through the sentence before you remember that you don't do that anymore. There are certain friends whose love language is a glass of wine or a drink because we deserve a treat. There are certain holidays, certain events, certain times of year where the whole world seems to be saying, just drink. Everyone's drinking. Why aren't you drinking? What's wrong with you? Nothing is wrong with you. But I want to offer you permission to do something radical. You are allowed to choose your environments deliberately. You're allowed to say, not yet to the party. You're allowed to leave early. You are allowed to bring your own sparkling water and not explain yourself. You're allowed to build a life that doesn't require you to be in constant combat with your surroundings. You're allowed to make it easier on yourself. You really are, and you have the power to do so. Because the bravest thing isn't going into the hard situation and somehow barely surviving it. The bravest thing is knowing yourself well enough to know what you can handle and what you can't handle yet, and making your choices accordingly. That's self-trust. That is environment design, and that's how you build a sober life that isn't about deprivation, but rather about intentional living. And now, beautiful soul, we move into a short, guided practice. The life you're building. Let's close your eyes. Let's settle into this moment. Arriving. Breathe deeply. Fill the spaces inside you that feel hollow. And exhale everything that doesn't belong. Now, I want you to imagine a day, not a fantasy day, just a real day. A Tuesday. An ordinary, beautiful, regulated Tuesday in your life that you're building. You wake up. What does your morning feel like? Not what it looks like on Instagram. What does it feel like in your body? Is there sunlight? Is there quiet? Is there a pet or kids or a cup of something warm in your hands? Feel the morning. You move through your day, not perfectly, not without stress or difficulty. Small annoyances, the coworker that talks too loud, the bus that's late. But you have tools. You have awareness. You have the ability to notice when you're getting depleted. and the willingness to do something about it. What does that look like for you? A walk? Breath work in the car? A text to someone who understands? Now it's evening, the time of day that used to be hardest, the time when the wanting was loudest. What does this evening look like in the life that you're building? Not the old evening, not the evening you're leaving behind. This one, the new one. Maybe you're cooking something simple. Maybe you're sitting on the porch, listening to the sounds of your neighborhood. Maybe you're reading. Maybe you're calling someone you love. Maybe you're doing absolutely nothing, and that feels like enough. Feel how that enough settles in your body. Where do you feel it? In your chest? Your belly? Your shoulders? This is the life you're building. Not someday. Now. One environment redesign at a time. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be intentional. Take a breath. Hold this vision gently, not as pressure, as possibility. And when you're ready, gently come back to the room and open your eyes. Welcome back, beautiful soul. You have the power to design a life that doesn't require you to fight yourself every single day. And that design starts with one honest look at your environment. And if you're feeling that pull right now, that quiet sense of, I want to go deeper, I have something for you. Tonight, every week, I host a free live session called the Live Metta Moments. It's a guided visualization journey mixed with nervous system work, live coaching, and deep inquiry. A space where we practice together in real time. Everything we explore on this podcast. And you are absolutely invited, beautiful soul. Tonight, Wednesday, 7:30 Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. All you need to do is jump on the mailing list. The link is right there in the show notes, and I will send the Zoom link straight to your inbox right before we go live. Every single week, every single session. No pressure, no prep. Just show up exactly as you are. And if you're ready, I'll meet you there. The Softening into Momentum podcast is lovingly curated, created, written, edited, and produced by me, Miki Byrne, with accompanying sound bath frequencies by my good friend, Static. If you would like to dive further into his incredible musical work, please go to YouTube or any streaming service at Static is Noise. You can get your copy of my book, Permission to Be, a memoir about sobriety, self-trust, and learning to come home to yourself in print, ebook format, as well as the intimate audiobook experience. All links in the show notes. Join the waitlist for Permission to Be, a mindful sobriety and self-trust journey back to yourself. Coming soon. Thank you for softening into this moment with me. Until we meet again, Namaste.